Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about something we often think of as just a technical skill, but it's really so much more than that. It's digital literacy, and for women over 60, it's an absolutely essential key to modern life. This isn't just about posting pictures or using an app. As we're going to see from the incredible work of organizations like EMYD and Digital Bridges, this is all about access, basic rights, and independence. So let's just start with this. This is one of the most common things trainers hear from women they're trying to help. I am already old, I cannot learn. And wow, that single sentence, it just captures so much, doesn't it? This isn't about not being interested, it's this deeply held belief, a mix of fear and maybe even a little bit of resignation. And honestly, it's the very first and maybe the highest barrier we need to understand. All right, so a key to daily life. And here's why that's so important. Digital access is a fundamental right. Because in the world we live in right now, this is not a hobby, it's not a luxury. Getting online has become an essential service. Pretty much a basic right if you want to participate in society. Being disconnected means you get left behind in a really profound way. And that leads us right to this core equation. It is this simple and this stark. Digital exclusion equals social exclusion. It's not just an inconvenience anymore. It has become a direct cause of being cut off, isolated from the very fabric of your community and your day-to-day life. So what's really at stake here? Think about your own last week. Did you book a doctor's appointment, pay a bill online, get a message from your grandchild's school, maybe just top up your bus pass? So much of this stuff, the absolute essentials of daily life, has moved online. And if you don't have access, you start to lose control over your own life. It's as simple as that. So the invisible barriers, because this is about way more than just technical skill. So if it's so important, why is it so hard for some people to get online? Well, what people working in the field have found is that the biggest obstacles, they have almost nothing to do with the technology itself. The toughest barriers are the ones you can't see. They're emotional and they're psychological. And here's a huge one. This fear right here. What if money disappears from my account? The fear of getting scammed, of making one wrong tap and seeing your savings just vanish. It's a completely understandable and honestly a paralyzing fear. It stops so many women from even trying to do their banking online, which means they have to stay dependent on others for basic financial tasks. And then there's this one, the fear of being judged. That worry that asking what feels like a simple question is going to make you look foolish. That social pressure can be so intense that it's just easier to say, oh, my kids handle that for me, than to risk feeling embarrassed in front of your family or even a stranger. So what we're really getting at is this. Before you can teach someone how to use a smartphone, you have to build trust. You have to tackle this lack of self-confidence, this fear of making mistakes, and that deep-seated belief that it's just too late to learn. This is the real curriculum. Now, this whole picture gets even more complex when we look at the specific experience of migrant women. We've got these barriers we just talked about, but for women with a migration background, there are extra layers of difficulty that just intersect and pile on top of the problem. And this brings us to a really vital insight. Just offering everyone the exact same class with the exact same materials, well, that might seem fair, but it isn't equality. Real equality means recognizing that different people have totally different starting points, and they need different kinds of support to get to the same finish line. And this slide really lays out that difference so clearly. On the left, you've got those universal barriers we've been talking about, the lack of confidence, the fear of mistakes. But then look at the right. For migrant women, you have to add language barriers, where even a simple word like confirm or cancel can be a huge source of stress. There's often a deep mistrust of institutions because of past trauma, weaker social networks for support, and of course, the very real experience of discrimination. All of these things stack up. Okay, so how in the world do we tackle such a complicated problem? Well, the answer lies in building digital bridges. And the way to do that is with solutions that are, above all, human-centered. It's about putting the person, not the phone, not the app, at the very heart of the entire process. The programs that really work are built on a philosophy of respect and patience. What does that mean? It means the participant, not some rigid curriculum, sets the speed. It means you create a space where mistakes aren't just allowed, they're expected. They're just part of learning. It means you focus on a concrete goal, something real, like, okay, today, let's book that actual doctor's appointment you need, not something abstract like, let's learn the settings menu. And that whole philosophy is backed up by some really practical tools. Things like bilingual materials to help with language barriers, large print cards that are just easier to read, and step-by-step visual guides. And what's absolutely critical is holding these training sessions in safe, familiar places, like a community center. That's how you build that foundational trust we were talking about earlier.
So, after looking at all of this, the fears, the barriers, the solutions, we get to what is probably the most important conclusion of all. This entire conversation, it's not actually about technology.
It's about women's lives. It is about their agency, their independence, their connection to their families and their communities. It's about the right to participate fully and equally in the world around them. And the transformation that happens when a woman becomes digitally empowered, wow, it is profound. Her dependency on others goes down, and her own agency goes way up. Power dynamics within the family can actually shift in healthier ways. For migrant women, it's a huge tool for building a sense of belonging, a feeling of equal citizenship. She isn't just learning to use an app, she is gaining a space of her own. And this vital, truly life-changing work is being led by these passionate organizations on the ground. All the insights we've talked about today come directly from their experience. They are the ones out there building the trust and opening these doors every single day.
So, we're going to end with this question. The digital world, that's just one of many spaces where people can be excluded. When we think about building a more fair and peaceful society, maybe the real challenge is this. How can we make sure that every single woman has a space of her own? Thank you for joining me.